Part 287. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2861. Now each of them is staring with big eyes and small eyes, so excited that they fly up. Anyway, looking at each other, that's what happened. It's fine if you enjoy watching it, and the rest doesn't matter. There were constant whispers around, and it seemed rather excited. Basically, some information about the horse-faced youth Shueotian was revealed. Shueotian, a third-year Earth-level student, a 6-star mid-sacred realm. In this realm, it is no problem to become a 4th-year Sky-level student of Guangming Academy, even stronger than ordinary Sky-level students. In this way, he is naturally a leader among prefecture-level students. Finally it was my turn to show up. Shueotian, a young man with a horse face, looked excited. He wants to find a chance to prove himself. To prove his strength and invincibility, he wants to drive that arrogant Fang Fan into the dust in the arena. He wants everyone to look at him with admiration. At this moment, the excitement deep in my heart exploded in full force. Trembling, surging. Chu Sisi. You bitch, take a good look at how powerful I am. I'll beat that little boy to nothing later. Hee hee. I am the strongest one. When the time comes, tremble and tremble. The Guangming Society can only rely on me, Shueotian, if it wants to win. I, Sueo Genius, is the hope of the Guangming Society. At that time, just wait and kneel and lick me. Shueotian sneered, thinking to himself, the posture of grinding teeth gradually appeared, and the sound of breathing gradually became extremely rapid. He glanced proudly at Chu Sisi, the president of the Guangming Society, and then swept around Chu Sisi's graceful figure presumptuously, his eyeballs turning all over. Interesting. This looks very chic. This woman must be mine. What a stunner. The harder it is to get, the more challenging it is. Good on. Shueotian let out a breath, thinking to himself, his body couldn't help but tremble, it's really too exciting. Surging. Take off. Fang Fan looked at the horse-faced young man striding over, looking quite speechless. If you want to come here, just come here, because when you come up, your whole body is shaking, and you still jump from time to time. It seems that this guy is not in a good spirit. Or, is there something like ADHD? You. Kneel. Surrender. The horse-faced youth Shueotian raised his head arrogantly, and then came this sentence. Fang Fan. Sand sculpture. Brain, is it broken? The Guangming Society sent a fool out to fight. Fang Fan raised his eyebrows, and his desire to complain became more and more intense. Anyway, that's what he was thinking in his heart. This looks very pretty. There are foolishness every year, especially this year. Anyway, that's how I think about it in my heart. It's so weird. Can the weird look be restrained a little bit? What did you say? You dare to scold me? Hee hee. Let me tell you. Now is your best deadline to admit defeat. If you miss this deadline, I will let you know what cruelty is. Don't think that just because those scumbags surrendered in front of you, you will feel how powerful you are. You are just 2 yellow-level students and mysterious level students. It's not even a 6-star sanctuary, it's nothing. What is it? You are not even qualified to carry shoes in front of me. I want to pierce you, easily. The horse-faced youth Shueotian roared with great confidence. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2862. So, can we start? Fang Fan shrugged his shoulders with a look of indifference. He still wanted to end it soon. This exchange match is also something that I received by accident. Thinking about it this way really gives me a headache. According to previous predictions, 3 wins in 5 rounds can almost be followed by the end. Fang Fan has already won 2 games before, and now there is only the last game left. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes secretly, thinking to himself. The light in his eyes became more and more. Start. You're not kidding, are you? You still want to start with me? Let me tell you the truth. The beginning is the end. You should weigh it yourself. Hey, you don't want to hold on to your life. Is it really? Are all the freshmen these days so arrogant? What are you talking about? How rampant is it going to be? Tisk. As a senior, I don't want to take advantage of you. Let me give you 10 moves first. Within 10 moves, you attack casually. If I counterattack, I will lose. Why? So rampant at such a young age. I really don't know who I studied with. Now I just have to get a wave of beatings. Your attack is child's play to me. Shueotian, a young man with a horse face, was speaking, and the arrogance on his face was beyond words. Anyway, what is expressed at this moment is such an attitude. On the surface, it is still very real. Needless to say, at least the attitude has been shown. Fang Fan has seen too many pretense. To a certain extent, Fang Fan has already become accustomed to it. Good guy, I don't know what's going on in my head. Fang Fan secretly narrowed his eyes, and then he didn't bother to continue talking nonsense, and directly launched an attack. The cultivation base of the horse-faced young man in front of him is not low, and the 6-star mid-level sanctuary is already considered a leader among the 3rd-year Earth-level students. For example, Zokyu Yeo is also a 3rd-year Earth-level student of the school, and he has only recently broken through to the 6-star initial stage of the sanctuary. However, Zokyu Yeo has not been a 3rd-year Earth-level student for long, and this horse-faced youth Shueotian can't do it. Feel free to compare them together. According to Fang Fan's current combat power, the 6-star initial stage sanctuary realm can completely beat him. As for the middle stage of the 6-star sanctuary, it may take a lot of seriousness. The desolate god servant chair. Fang Fan thought secretly, and then directly poured all the combat power of the 3 6-star early stage sanctuary realm pets into himself. With the combat power blessing of 3 6-star early stage sacred pets, Fang Fan at this moment has no problem fighting ordinary 6-star early stage sacred practitioners. And with the help of Zhan Tianjian's power, it can be made stronger. Zhan Tianjian has been promoted to a 5-star holy weapon after absorbing the power of the red blood thunder copper before. And because there are enough red blood and lightning copper, the level of the 5-star holy weapon has been improved a bit. Now Zhan Tianjian is not far from the 6-star holy weapon. Zhan Tianjian has the bonus of weapon spirit, and Fang Fan can communicate with each other, and the human sword is one, and the combat power is incomparable. For Fang Fan, the Zhan Tian sword of the 5-star holy weapon level is stronger than ordinary holy weapons. Cut. Fang Fan snorted secretly, and then the Zhan Tian sword in his hand pierced through directly, mixed with the momentum of thunder, as if it wanted to completely annihilate everything in front of him. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shuyu. Chapter 2863. Unparalleled Combat Power. The atmosphere around the arena suddenly became tense. At this moment, the audience in the arena didn't want to complain anymore. Their eyes were full of energy at this moment, and the excitement on their faces was beyond words. This wave directly followed the full takeoff. The excitement is beyond words. Finally the main show. Finally able to see them doing a good job. Fighting each other here, the fighting power between each other will explode invisibly. When Fang Fan started to swing the Zhan Tian sword, The horse-faced youth Shueotian looked indifferent, and the arrogance on his face was beyond words. Real bells and whistles. How can a freshman be so strong? I really don't know why those two idiots just gave up. I suspect that those two trash are spies sent by Tiandeo Society. Why? A mere freshman, don't say I let you attack casually within 10 moves, even if I let you attack 100 moves or 1,000 moves, what can you do to me? That's not the case at all. It's like a tiger and an ant. It's not the same at all. The gap between them is still very large. Tisk, tisk tisk, interesting, really interesting. Wave after wave of noise followed, and the things on the scene appeared to be very real. In fact, that's what happened. The horse-faced youth Shueotian was really arrogant at first. But gradually, the expression on his face changed. Something is wrong. This is going to be a moth. It exploded. Mentality exploded. What the hell is going on? How could it be so strong? Gudong. This is not much worse than my attack power, and even stronger. This can't be done by this freshman. Am I dazzled? Huh, phew, it must be my eyesight, it must be the case, otherwise it is absolutely impossible. The horse-faced youth Shueotian was so frightened that his body trembled, he quickly stepped back, and then hastily pulled out the long sword from his waist. Before pretending to say that there is no possibility of resistance within 10 moves, otherwise these nonsense will not be taken seriously. If you don't resist, you may be beaten to death. It's really too dangerous to glance at the past. If you are not careful, it may be cool. Pit money. The Zhantian sword in Fang Fan's hand collided with the long sword in the hand of the horse-faced youth Shueotian, and then a bright spark flickered across the board, giving people a feeling of being bright. Immediately following Fang Fan, he continued to stab forward, and the young man with the horse face, Shueotian, felt a tremor inexplicably, and immediately withdrew his body quickly. Cough. Cough cough cough. The horse-faced youth Shueotian's complexion began to change drastically, followed by shrinking his neck subconsciously, his face became more and more red, and his coughing became much more urgent. Puff. Cough, cough cough cough. The horse-faced youth Shueotian was stupefied for an instant, and his gaze shrank completely, his whole body was completely ignorant. Good guy, in vain. Is this the rhythm against the sky? This really doesn't look right. From the looks of it, there are some problems. At this moment, the audience was full of exclamations. The sound of sighing continued. When this horse-faced young man Shueotian first came out, his arrogance and sarcasm had already been deeply rooted in the hearts of the people. Who would have thought that it would take so long, and that's it? Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shuyu. Chapter 2864. This is nothing. Not at all. I glanced over and felt nothing. On the contrary, it is ridiculed. From a comprehensive point of view, it is inexplicably ridiculous. I thought that the Guangming Society could send someone with a little weight to fight a good fight, but now it seems that this wish will not be fulfilled. Hey, 3 out of 5 rounds, if Fang Fan from the Tiandeo Club still wins this round, this so-called friendly match will be over. 3-0 is directly KO. Is the gap between Tiandeo Society and Guangming Society so big now? The Guangming Society has been lost to Grandma's house this time. Ha ha ha. Shueotian, a third-year prefecture-level student from the Guangming Society, pretended just now that he wanted Fang Fan to make 10 moves. If he made a move within 10 moves, he would automatically admit defeat. Why is the picture reversed now? Bragging is a trick. If you really let him go, you'll be scared right away. Hey! Isn't that what's going on? I've seen through it a long time ago, tisk, tisk tisk, you can't help but laugh. The Guangming society slapped their faces all swollen this time. There are constant voices of hot discussion and complaints. The things on the scene are still very real. At the place where the practitioners of the Guangming Society are located, Chu Ceci, the president of the Guangming Society, grabbed the ironwood handle with both hands and crushed it directly. With so many people complaining and belittling them, Guangming Society, can she feel better? No one is reliable. This Shueotian yelled right before he came on the stage, but if it really came to the end, that's exactly what happened. Fang Fan, what kind of existence are you? It's not that I haven't seen a peerless genius, but you are the first one who is so enchanting. It's been less than a year since you entered Guangming Academy, and your current strength can be ranked among the top ones. I'm afraid ordinary sky-level students will bow their heads in front of you. You guys won't be able to achieve the position of saint when you graduate, right? Evildoer. Chu Ceci, the president of the Guangming Society, took a deep breath, thinking to himself. The facial expression changed very quickly, and all the feelings in his heart had already taken off in full swing at this moment. When Shang talked about this, Chu Ceci, the president of the Guangming Society, showed a lonely look on his face again. When the major clubs started recruiting students, they lost to Tiandao Club by a single move. If I knew this earlier, I should have included you in the Guangming Society at all costs. Even if it is tied. I will tie you up. Chu Ceci, the president of the Guangming Society, rolled her eyes, feeling inexplicably bitter at the moment. Thoughts gathered here, and then silently shook his head. Unfortunately, all this has become a thing of the past. From this angle, this guy is really charming. Maybe I'll hear this name more often in the future. The next firmament sanctuary will be his era. Such a monster has appeared in the light camp, and I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Chu Ceci, the president of the Guangming Society, murmured to herself, her beautiful eyes turning rapidly. Others didn't know what she was thinking in her heart, but from the outside, the blush on President Chu Ceci's face had increased. All the members of the Guangming Society only thought that their president was sullen because of the scene of a crushing defeat in the arena. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2865. The Gathering Place for Practitioners of Tiandao Society. Why? No suspense, no meaning at all. If you read the beginning, you will know the result. What do you mean by that? It's a pity, it's a pity. It's a pity that such a good start didn't earn a star core. Great start, just wasted like this. It's useless. It seems that Fang Fan is right. My layout is indeed a bit too small. This is nothing. There's no such pattern. There are no local tyrants at all in this Guangming Academy, and they all make bets. The key is that each brain is better than the other. If you want to earn a lot of star cores in the future, you still need to choose a bigger scene. We must be steady in the next academic exchange competition, this is a must. Bai Piao's eyeballs rolled around, thinking to himself, the eyes flickered with a different kind of brilliance. Brother Fang Fan is the most talented freshman I have ever seen. The future is limitless. Phew, it's terrifying. Brother Fang Fan is Brother Fang Fan, and the gap between them is getting bigger and bigger. Zhou Qiuyao licked his lips, and while talking, he sighed with deep approval from the side. These are all derived from the most real feelings in the heart. So real. Thinking of this, the whole person gradually drifted away. Humph. Of course my husband is tough. Xiao Liyulai raised her head arrogantly, and while talking, she also raised her head and chest, looking very proud. Although Lu Jiyi on the side didn't speak, a smile appeared on her face. This is my boss. My boss is the strongest. Zhao Wei has now become a fan of Fang Fan. Anyway, this attitude has been there from beginning to end, and it has never changed. The surrounding discussions became more and more loud. Basically, they are all bragging about Fangfan and Tiandao society, while belittling Shuao Tian, a third-year prefecture-level student of Guangming society. In the arena, Shuao Tian, a young man with a horse face, clutched his chest. His complexion became increasingly ugly. Slap in the face. This face has been completely swollen. Hateful. This group of people is worse than the other. Isn't it just an accident? As for such hype? Is he shameless? Is he shameless? Call. I'll let you guys see who is the strong one who has the last laugh. The horse-faced youth Shuao Tian clenched his fists, the murderous intent in his eyes instantly gathered, his eyes focused on Fang Fan, his lips trembled violently. Fang Fan. Die. The horse-faced youth Shuao Tian let out an angry roar, and then launched an attack with all his might. He is going to wash away this wave of humiliation with blood. There were blue veins all over his forehead, and the roars came in an instant like surging fireworks. Clang. Fang Fan collided with Zhan Tian's sword in his hand, and they were evenly matched. Normally speaking, at this moment, even if Fang Fan gathered the power of 3 6-star early-stage sacred pets, it would be difficult to directly tie with the existence of the 6-star mid-stage sanctuary. Under normal circumstances, Fang Fan still needs to show more whole cards. But right now when confronting this horse-faced youth Shuao Tian, he still has a certain degree of advantage. This shows what? This shows that the horse-faced young man in front of him is actually a war scum. Cultivation and combat power do not match. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2866. Fang Fan thought to this point, and then smiled indifferently. The overall situation is basically stable. After seeing the smile on Fang Fan's face, the anger in Shuao Tian's heart grew more and more during the Mami and Qingnian. Asshole. Asshole. Are you mocking me? Call. Hoo. Shuao Tian's eyes instantly turned blood-colored, and his body trembled unnaturally. Immediately afterwards, his whole body gradually turned blood-red. Even those hands became extremely crimson. At the same time, the hairs protruded upwards, as if turning into pointed vertebrae. At this moment, Shuao Tian's combat power suddenly skyrocketed. In the beginning, it was only the weakest 6-star middle sanctuary combat power. Now the combat power has been upgraded to the 6-star high-level sanctuary realm combat power. No. Still continuing to improve. What the hell happened to this? Something happened. Something happened. Shuao Tian from the Guangming Society seems to have mutated. Cao, my whole body is as red as a sunset, just like that big lobster. It's weird. It's so weird. Why is he still emitting black gas? No. Couldn't it be self-burning? Are you so stupid? Who the hell still burns himself? No, there must be something wrong with it, there is absolutely no possibility that there is nothing wrong with it. Question. I also know that there is a problem. The key is, where is the problem? The combat power of Shuao Tian from the Guangming Society seems to have been raised to the 6-star peak sanctuary realm. It's still going up. Wipe. Isn't it to increase the combat power, to the 7-star sanctuary realm? Who can survive in this audience? This scene, why does it look so bewitched? There were constant discussions around, and everyone's eyes flocked here, and the whole person became erratic. Thinking about this, it collapsed to the extreme. In the arena, Fang Fan saw the changes in the horse-faced youth Shuao Tian in front of him, and was completely bewildered. Good guy. What the hell is going on? Why can't he understand it at all? This. Fluttering and erratic, what is the situation? The situation is really not right. This guy's combat power has been improved too much, and many trump cards in Fang Fan's hands cannot be used. You forced me. You forced me. Roar. Fang Fan. It's you. It's you who are persecuting me. Whirring. I won't let you go. I don't want to do this either, but there's no way. I can only do this. Hiss. Go to hell. Go to hell. Boom. The horse-faced youth Shueotian roared violently a few times, and then the clothes on his body burst open. Immediately, the body covered with veins was revealed. Vomit. Vomit. It's disgusting, vomit. Many people present immediately vomited all over the place, and their faces became more and more terrified. At this moment, their brows were tightly furrowed, their right hands were covering their chests, and their complexions were more or less pale. Speaking of which, in fact, everyone is a cultivator, who hasn't seen blood and corpses. Everyone is knowledgeable. So under normal circumstances, such a large-scale vomiting phenomenon is unlikely to occur. Now it can only be said that the body of this horse-faced youth Shueotian is really too disgusting. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shuyu. Chapter 2867. With a glance at the past, there are actually countless rice-sized worms constantly running through his blood vessels, and then they kept sucking the flesh and blood of his body. Immediately afterwards, densely packed tiny cavities appeared on the surface of his body. In those tiny holes, small worms crawled out non-stop, and then continued to suck the flesh and blood of Shueotian's body. Gradually, the flesh and blood on Shueotian's body became less and less, and his whole body was full of disgusting holes. Even the face is no exception. Not to mention other people, even Fang Fan couldn't help but feel his scalp tingling when he watched it by himself. What the hell is this? Even people who don't have trypophobia can't help shivering. Bug eggs, that's bug eggs. Goo insects. It seems that goo insects are causing trouble. It was the goo that gave him strength. This is the power of Goo God. Oh my God. No wonder this Shueotian's combat power has suddenly increased so fast, he is about to break into the 7-star sanctuary realm. It turns out that it used the power of goo insects. He actually raised goo. Isn't this a method only used by the dark camp? No. Even in the dark camp, raising goo is very rare, because it is too disgusting. Almost all of them have been banned. The existence that was banned by the dark camp, how did it spread to our Guangming Academy? Who knows where this Shueotian got these disgusting things? Who? Haha, no, I can't stand it anymore. Labor and management go vomit for a while. Damn it, am I humming cheap? The more disgusting I am, the more I want to see it. I feel my scalp is numb and my whole body feels refreshed. Bitch, what a bastard, but it seems like it's true after you say that. This looks addictive. It's been a long time since my scalp has been so numb. It's crispy and numb. It's really a unique sense of enjoyment. I feel like I'm going to be ecstatic. There were more and more complaints from the surroundings. Wave after wave, very pure. This kind of goo insect is a taboo existence, and it borrows the power of the goo god from the dark camp. This is absolutely not allowed in the light camp. Now that the horse-faced youth Shueotian did this, he had already trampled on the bottom line of the light camp. Besides, borrowing the power of the goo god, it is to injure the enemy 10,000 and self-injure 8,000. From the pitted bloody hole on the horse-faced youth Shueotian in front of him, he could see some doorway. Borrowing so much energy from these goo worms, These goo worms naturally need to get it back from the horse-faced youth Shueotian, and this is just the beginning. I'm afraid it won't be long before this young man with a horse face will be devoured into a mummy. But even so, this guy is still so reckless. In a way, it's kind of crazy. Chu Sisi. Why did your Guangming society recruit all such lunatics? This lunatic must be sent to the Temple of the Alliance of Light for purification. Chu Sisi. Are you crazy for winning a friendly match? It doesn't matter if I give you both hands for the victory of this friendly match, but if there is any accident in my brother Fang Fan, I, Zhuo Yao, will never let you go. Zhou Qiuyao clenched his teeth, his eyes flickering with murderous intent. Fang Fan was pulled over by him to help. If something happened, Zhou Qiuyao would naturally feel uneasy. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Xu Yu. Chapter 2868. Now that horse-faced young man Shueotian obviously has a problem. This is with the help of the power of goo insects. To a certain extent, he has even turned his faith to the goo god, and the goo god is a well-deserved evil god. It is the evil god of the dark camp. In this way, it is absolutely impossible for the light camp to make a move, and it is normal to be fully resisted at this moment. The moment of the collapse of the situation is bursting out in full force. I don't know how it happened. If I knew that he knew what he looked like, there would be no way I would let him take the stage. Chu Sisi, the president of the Guangming Society, suddenly turned dark. At this moment, he was staring at the horse-faced young man Shueotian in the arena, his eyes full of awe. After all, this Shueotian is representing their Guangming Society, so if something happens now, their Guangming Society can't get away with it. Not only can't she get away with it, she may even continue to be involved in this matter. If you are not careful, you will lose everything. The situation will only become more and more complicated. It's useless. Now in this situation, what else can I do? I can't stand it anymore. Kill the heretics. Everyone is responsible. Kill him. Chu Sisi, the president of Guangming Society, suddenly soared into the air, and immediately killed that horse-faced youth Shueotian. At this moment, Chu Sisi, the president of the Guangming Society, has a 6-star peak sanctuary realm cultivation base that explodes directly. Boom. Clang. The soft sword in Chu Sisi's hand collided with the arm of the horse-faced young man Shueotian. Unexpectedly there was no injury left. On the contrary, it was Chu Sisi's attack that completely aroused Shueotian's blood. Gradually, more and more goo worms surged on his body, and then frantically scurry in the inner layer of his skin. There were more and more blood holes. It looked more and more disgusting. Roar. Chu Sisi. Gee. Why are you attacking me? I'm fighting for the Guangming Society. You still want to sneak attack me? Sisi. Why did you do this? Don't you know it makes me sad? Or do you not care about my sadness at all? Are you so hard-hearted now? Ah. Is it like this? Asshole. Asshole. Bitch. Didn't you come here to save this little boy? I understand everything. Ha 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 ha. Wait and see. Watch carefully. I'm going to torture this little boy today. Cruel to death. Gee. They all have to die? Then let you all die together. The horse-faced youth Shueotian could no longer see his face clearly. On his face, he could only see goo worms moving around. As he roared, he immediately killed him. Clang. His weapon slashed directly at Chu Sisi, and Chu Sisi subconsciously raised the soft sword in his hand to fight. Clang. Boom. The soft sword in Chu Sisi's hand fell directly, followed by her body rushing towards the surrounding area. Puff. Puff. The corners of Chu Sisi's mouth twitched, and then he spit out a mouthful of blood, Black lines flickered all over his forehead, and he was completely stunned. What a powerful existence! This combat power even faintly has the combat power of the 7-star sanctuary realm. The situation has become extremely dangerous virtually. Chu Ceci has lost the power to fight at this moment, and at this moment that Shueotian is still continuing to attack. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shuyu. Chapter 2869. Naughty Animal. Go to hell. Zuokiya roared, and then rushed out, but the astonishment on his face became more and more at this moment, and he whispered softly at this moment, and the whole person fell into a kind of wireless anxiety for no reason. This is too different from what he expected, too much. Before Zuokiya could kill him, he was blown away by the air wave around Shueotian. Immediately, Zuokiya's body moved wildly like a kite with a broken string. Looking at it at a glance, it looks very strange. At this moment, she glanced subconsciously, her lips squirmed especially purely. This young man with a horse face, Shueotian, has already followed against the sky, and he can't beat him. My life is over. Why? Chu Ceci, the president of the Guangming Society, glanced forward, and then wanted to flee towards the surrounding area, but the tearing feeling from all over her body made her speed very slow, very slow. Now that Zuokiya didn't stop the demonized Shueotian even for a moment, it is conceivable that he is already cold. Walk. Just when Chu Ceci was feeling desperate, a stalwart body stood in front of her, and then lifted her up with one hand, and then threw her far away. Chu Ceci's body fell to the ground far away in various ways, feeling the pain when her buttocks collided with the ground, almost made Chu Ceci cry out. At this moment, Chu Ceci's eyes glanced around, and the facial expression changed very realistically. Something is wrong. There is a problem here. All these thoughts are all nonsense. How did it become like this? Who fell, my old lady? Chu Ceci couldn't help but yelled at her, but after just saying this, she suddenly came to her senses. That person was saving himself just now. Otherwise, I might be cold at this moment. That person just now was so warm. Although the technique is a little rough, but the feeling is too real. Thinking up to this point, the whole person trembled invisibly with a slight tremor. It's him. Fang Fan. Is he crazy? This demonized Shueotian, even I am not an all-in-one enemy. He rushed forward recklessly, isn't he killing himself? What is he going to do? This is too dangerous. Doesn't he know the risk factor? He is not a fool, he must know, but he did it without hesitation and risked his life to save me. Why? Could it be that he doesn't like to answer me, but just can't express his good feelings and feelings? He treats me differently. I'm not without charm. Is he tempted? Chu Ceci, the president of the Guangming Society, rolled her eyes. At this moment, she felt that her mind was thinking about some messy things. These messy things gathered in his mind, making him tremble invisibly. It's very weird, very special, and I don't know what kind of feeling it is. It seems that there is still a sense of expectation in my heart. Is this how it feels? The mentality slowly boiled over. He's in danger. Only at this time did Chu Ceci turn back to reality from the fantasies of flowers and flowers. Looking at Fang Fan standing on the arena, Chu Ceci's heart became entangled in an instant, and her breathing could not help but become extremely rapid, and she looked nervous. Beyond words. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shuyu. Chapter 2870. The audience seemed to be holding their breath at this moment. Husband. Brother. Xiao Liulai and Lu Jiyi looked at each other, the panic on their faces was beyond words, and the whole person fell into a kind of infinite panic. In vain, full of panic, thoughts churning. Zhou Qiuyeo stood aside, clutching his chest, his face was livid, he wanted to intervene, but he was repelled as soon as he went up, it was too shocking. At this time, it seems that there is a crisis everywhere. If these crises are not well controlled, they can bring great risks at any time. It's really too late to regret it when these risks are overwhelmed, and it will be too late. Bai Piao glanced forward, especially after seeing Fang Fan and his actions to help Chu Ceci, the president of the Guangming Society, he immediately curled his lips. Don't worry, there's nothing wrong. This kid, the hero, saved the beauty again. Why? Why doesn't such a good opportunity come to me every time? Really, it's not fair. It's so unfair. How can you look like this? Fang Fan's luck is really good. That President Chu Ceci is really good looking, with infinite style. Tisk tisk tisk. This kid's vision is still as vicious as ever. Bai Piao was deeply moved. Looking at himself again, and comparing them carefully, he could find that the gap between them is really not a star and a half. It's too difficult. Brother Bai Piao, how can you still say such sarcastic remarks at this moment? Brother Fang Fan is already in danger. Didn't you see that picture? It's almost possible to suppress it directly. That demonized Shueotian is really strong. This wave of momentum is overwhelmed, who can hold it steady? Brother Bai Piao, don't everyone say that your defense is invincible. Hurry up and rush to help. Hurry to help. Gudong. Zhuoqiu roared anxiously, while talking, he also wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. Fang Fan was the one who came to help out, if something unexpected happened, would he be able to live in his heart? There are naturally many thoughts in my heart. Especially at this moment, we must hold on. Brother Zhuoqiu, hey, don't be nervous, don't get excited, if Fang Fan is really in danger, can I remain indifferent? This kid is much smarter than us. Up to this moment, this kid didn't even think about running away, and even rushed over. This shows that Fang Fan is fully capable of calming down the audience and is sure to fight against this demonization, Shueotian. If that wasn't the case, how would this kid have the energy to save the president of the Guangming Society, Chu Ceci? Don't worry. This guy is about to start his show. I know him too well. If he has no choice but to resist, he should choose to run away now, or disappear in an instant, and you can't even see his figure. But if you don't do anything now, it means you already know it. The protagonist doesn't have any sense of tension. What are we people doing in such a hurry? Just wait and watch the show. Just wait and see Fang Fan continue to show off. Let's see if there are any innovative routines this time. Bai Piao held deep resentment. While he was talking, he glanced around, and when he saw Chu Ceci, the president of the Guangming Society, he sighed silently.